So I wish everyone a pleasant morning. So do you remember this experience? Or what about this one? So I still vividly remember when classes were still face to face, and the struggle of commuting via public transport is a leading cause of my daily stress. The feeling of being as packed as a can of sardines while riding the LRT, or the long wait that I have to endure before I get to ride a jeepney or a UV Express, and several more. I'm sure everyone here has a similar experience. So, based on such experiences, we could analyze that the problems of the railway and the land transportation in the metro becomes more apparent over time. Of course, this is due to different reasons, which all of which are solvable through different strategies, both in the short term and in the long term. So let us now talk about the nature of these problems. So, mass public transport is a long-standing issue in the metro, and I guess we could say that little has been done by the government in resolving such problems. So, let us first deal with the railway transportation in the metro. So, this has been a headache, no, to several Filipino commuters in Metro Manila. Some manifestations of this is the frequent breakdown of the MRT and LRT. I remember during 2018 or 2019, the only 12 out of the 20 trains of the MRT are operational. So besides the MRT and the LRT, the PNR also cancels their trip frequently without prior notice. And I guess the quality of some of their train cars is very horrendous. So we, based on these manifestations, I guess we could say that it is very problematic. The railway transit system in Metro Manila is very problematic. So moving further beyond the railway transport system in the metro, the situation faced by different modes of land transportation in Manila has been problematic as well. So the number of UV Express on the road is still lacking, especially now that we are in a pandemic. And the problem of colorum vans is quite persisting. Besides the PUVs, the jeepney sector also experiences several kinds of problems. Some of these include the increasing fuel prices and the impending modernization program being pushed by the government. So, all in all, the totality of these problems causes a lot of inconveniences, some of which reflects through the long waiting lines and the terrible experience due to the poor conditions of the public transport system. So, now that we know the nature of these problems, let us now see the different existing solutions for the public transportation crisis or issues in Metro Manila. However, I want to consider them only as band-aid answers since they are quite inefficient in the long run. So, going back to the train system in Metro Manila, there are three temporary solutions that the government laid out to resolve these transportation issues. First is that the MRT offers a free ride to commuters to ease their burden. So I've watched it in the news that this program is extended until the end of June this year. So to at least ease the financial burden by the commuters brought upon by several factors, including the ever increasing price of goods. So, I also want to point out that the MRT and the LRT regularly provides this skip train scheme to address the long line concerns. So, these started in 2014, and as I remember, these skip trains usually arrive on train stations with a great number of passengers who aboard the train. And lastly, the PNR also has added some improvements to their trains by adding longer and wider train cars to accommodate more passengers. So from these short-term solutions to the railway transport system, um, different kinds of mass land public transport also um, enacted different provisional solutions to address the issues faced by their commuters. So the first one is on the driver's side, the government continues its fuel subsidy programs to help drivers and operators cope with the increasing fuel prices. Of course, it is hoped that this could translate to more PUVs and POJs driving on the road. So besides these, the government, also through its agencies, um, are quite proactive in penalizing those who are engaging in colorum activities, those who are driving colorum vehicles on the road. And the issue of to ease the issues of long lines, uh, the government also enacted a free ride scheme in different cities across Metro Manila. So this is quite similar to what the MRT authorities had to offer. So these are just the temporary or band-aid solutions that are laid out currently. However, I want to point out that there are numerous solutions that are better and that could be looked into and should be prioritized, all of which are effective in the long term. So, for the railway system in the Metro Manila, first is that uh, the train system could improve its current ticketing system, which is the BIP, by selling train tickets not only in train stations but in other physical stores where commuters could easily access them. Second is that instead of allocating most of the financial resources to building train stations and more railroad tracks, the government and its and their partner that are private corporations that are mandated to take charge of the metro railway transits should align more of its funds to improving the maintenance of the LRT and MRT. And of course, the most feasible of all of this is that they should renovate and try to expand uh, train stations that accounts for the most number of daily passenger rides. So these are the for the train station for the train system. So there are also different solutions that could be more adequate in terms of resolving the issues of the mass public land transportation. First is that the government should shoulder the entire cost of the modernization program of the jeepney, not by the commuters or not by the drivers or by the operators. So where could the budget come from? First is that it could be sourced from massive subsidy program um, by uh, I'm sorry, the budget for this massive subsidy program could be attained through taxation by taxing purchase of new private vehicles. And another potential source of this is by realigning the budget from defective and inefficient government institutions like the NTF LCA. Uh, Aside from these, instead of penalizing colorum vehicles on the road, why cannot the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or the LTFRB grant more operating permits to those who wish to drive their vehicles publicly? And of course, um, the best solution to all of this is to improve and prioritize the traffic situation in Metro Manila. So I guess that sums it all up. No, I hope that you have learned the nature and the different solutions that could be offered to resolve the transportation issues in Metro Manila. If you guys one day would work on institutions that could aim to address these concerns, I hope that you could look into this and that you could give or provide massive changes permanently to give our fellow Filipino commuters a more enjoyable and stress-free travel experience. Thank you.